Well, we are 5 episodes into Season 9. I only reviewed the season opener so far, and my review on episode 200 will be on someone else's channel. I guess this one has to do then. Point of No Return is perhaps the most Twilight episode I have ever seen. It's about books and Twilight's OCD, and Spike is the only voice of reason around. Yeah, that's a Twilight episode for you. Celestia decided to clean up Twilight's old room and sends her some old personal stuff. Even though Twilight offered that room to Moondancer back in Amending Fences. Okay, she declined it back then because she was all grumpy, and they never elaborated on it if Moondancer picked Twilight up on that offer later. I sorta assumed she did, but apparently not, I guess. Just saying, this episode would have been immediately twice as interesting if Moondancer had played a more substantial role in the plot. For example, instead of Twilight getting that box delivered to her, she could have simply visited Moondancer in Canterlot to pick up her old stuff leading into the plot. While Spike was pretty good in this episode, I think his part could have easily been played by Moondancer instead, giving her and Twilight an opportunity to play each other off a bit more. But hey, at the very least she got more than a silent cameo this time around. It still somewhat frustrates me a little bit that they sorta wasted an opportunity to finally do something with Moondancer, considering that Amending Fences was all about her and Twilight reconnecting. Well, whatever, it is not how the episode was written, so I gotta accept that. Now, to get it out of the way, the thing that bothers me the most about this episode is that it tried to push this lesson that it is okay to make mistakes and that Twilight doesn't have to be perfect, ignoring the fact that Discord has been trying to teach her that lesson for years by now, and that Twilight herself had a musical number regarding that topic back in Fame and Misfortune. It just doesn't really work within the context of this episode. Yet Twilight is feeling uncomfortable and embarrassed that she made a stupid mistake, especially since she has a reputation of the best book borrower in that library. They even put up a picture of her because of that. Yeah, that would make anyone uncomfortable. But Twilight was very much to the point and willing to face the consequences from the get-go. She wanted to hand the book in and be done with it. The only reason she didn't was because she had to look for First Folio first, and when she finally meets her, she learns that Dusty Page supposedly lost her job because of the book Twilight didn't return. She isn't freaking out because of her perfectionism, she's freaking out because she thinks that she ruins the life of a friend and wants to make amends. Kinda like Amending Fences actually. Funnily enough, she didn't return the book for the same reason she didn't went to Moondancer's birthday party in episode 1, ruining the life of 2 ponies in one day. Way to go, Twilight. And you can't really blame her, because that's exactly what First Folio says to her.
Oh, I heard she was forced to leave. It's so sad. She loved the library.
Wait, forced to leave?
Yeah. She had a perfect librarian record until one careless pony didn't return a book. Ruined it all.
Are you okay, Twilight? Would you excuse me?
Now Twilight thinks she can fix it if she gets the book to Dusty Page, so she can return it. This is a conclusion Twilight would come to, even if it's obviously not how it works. Now later, when she talks to Dusty Page, Twilight does learn that she wasn't fired, but rather that she retired.
All those years I spent hiding away in that library, trying to be perfect. When your book never came in, I felt something exhilarating.
What was it?
Freedom. From books? From perfection. I was too stubborn to know when to call it quits. It took your mistake to make me realize that I wasn't living the life I wanted.
But this doesn't make any sense. A librarian has no control over their customers. If they don't return their book in time, it has nothing to do with Dusty doing a bad job. Her job is to keep record on who borrowed a book, and if they don't return it in time, it's the job of a librarian to remind the customer that they still need to return the book and have to pay a late fee. The fact that Twilight didn't return her book in time did not ruin Dusty Page's perfect record. She is a bad librarian because she didn't know who borrowed that book and never sent out a note to Twilight. So basically, she had one job and didn't do it. And I suppose that could have been a reason to fire her. So yeah, tying this episode to a weird lesson about perfection doesn't really make any sense whatsoever and hurts it more than it helps. How to fix it? Really, it is simple. Make all of this more of a misunderstanding. Instead of tying her retirement to Twilight not returning the book, with her telling Twilight at the end that she shouldn't jump to conclusions. Twilight is quick to blame herself, and it could be a decent lesson that not every single mistake results in a catastrophe. So basically, make it less about Twilight trying to be perfect all the time, but rather that she shouldn't worry about her mistakes too much. And maybe pointing out that as a former librarian herself, Twilight should have known better. Besides that, I think this is a very decent episode. Spike and Twilight were portrayed very well. I enjoyed all the callbacks to prior episodes, even if seeing the tasty treat was a bit random, even more so since we don't see coriander or saffron, not even in the background. Also, why is everyone thinking Spike is a waiter and why does he roll with it? Well, it's funny, that's why, but it is still kinda odd. And it was kinda cool that they actually included that scene from episode 1 as a flashback, and I guess this is a good point to wrap things up. Point of No Return is a pretty decent episode. I think there are several leaps in logic, and the lesson, while well-intentioned, doesn't really tie into the actual plot. But I had fun watching it, and in the end, this is what matters to me the most. So yeah, I consider this one another win for Season 9. But what about you? Did you like this episode? Anything that bothered you? Did you ever return a book late? Let me know in the comments below. I am Tricky Fox. Stay foxy.
Sly as a fox, you got me under your spell. But you know I'll never tell that I know you know so well. Sometimes you can